Huntin' Big with Steve Bartilla. Brought to you by
one of the big issues when it comes to trail cameras is that they're supposed to help our hunting efforts, not harm them. So what are some of the things we can do to actually pull that off? Well, for one, if you're going to head into an area like is behind my shoulder here, geez, you better be doing that in the middle of the night because deer are bedding in there. When are deer in their bedding areas? They're in their bedding areas during daylight hours. Not, generally speaking, not after dark. After dark, they're out in the food sources. So, you want to time your trips for going in and setting up cameras, as well as checking the cameras for times that the whitetails are not in those areas. A bedding area like what's behind me here, they're going to be in there during the day. I better have an extremely good reason if I want to go back in there and set up a cam. Next, think odors. Now we go walking through there like I am right now, I'm going to be leaving so many, forget about the deer that smell me as I'm here. My arm is going to rub on that brush. My pant legs are going to rub on that grass. I'm going to leave so many odors behind, it's not even funny. I'm going to educate way more deer after I've left than even if that bedding area is full and I kick them all out on the way in to set that cam or to swap a chip. So think about where you're putting your cams, and then odor control. Now, if we have to worry about odors when we're hunting, why wouldn't we have to worry about odors when we're running cams back by our tree stands? What you want to do is you want to cut your odors and you want to time your trips for when the deer are not in those areas. But it really helps if, to begin with, you select low impact locations to set your cameras. All right, unless you're going to use cell cams. Cell cams, man, they've opened the world for us. They really have. If you've got a cell signal and you can slip back in there, you can go ahead and set that camera up. You can get yourself a little solar charging panel, and you can make it so that there's nobody in there that you don't have to go in to check that chip the entire darn time. Think about where the deer are coming from and where they're going to. You don't have to put the camera in the source where they're coming from or the destination where they're going to. If they're high impact and you can set up on a spot between the two, awesome. A perfect example for me is I go ahead and make a lot of staging areas. Staging areas set about 100 yards back in the woods. Okay, 50 to 100 yards. I do that because, man, I might not be able to hunt that big clear cut because those bucks, they aren't coming out there till after dark. Maybe that large alfalfa field, they aren't coming out there till after dark. But if you have that area back in the woods, they're more than happy to do that. And they transition through there. So I can often hunt that location, get in and get out. The problem though actually comes in when it comes to going back again and again and again. During midday, I have no problem going to that clear cut. I have no problem going to that large food source because then the whitetails aren't there, okay? So rather than place that camera on that staging plot, what I do 9 times out of 10 is I put it where that trail from the staging plot dumps into the main food source. Think about where they're coming from, where they're going, what you want intel on, and if you can't get it at the source or the destination, think about how you can do it in the middle. Final thoughts, brought to you by Huntworth. Cameras can actually help us quite a bit, but way too many people use them in ways that hurt their hunting efforts. When we're running cameras, we do not want to stink up the woods. We do not want to be bumping deer all over the place. One of the worst things we can do is if we've got cameras all over our 40 and we got this week off now for hunting, is to get out there and run those cams first thing and then go ahead to the stand. Well, if you're using sloppy camera placement, you just educated every single whitetail on that place that you're out there after them. Now, really think about where we place, how we run, and as a bonus towards the end here, how we store our cams. We wouldn't throw a stinky shirt next to our tree stand. Why would we throw a camera that's been stored out in the garage the whole darn year and stink like oil and humans? No, treat yourself, treat your cams for odors, think about placement, think about how you're getting there, get out. Cameras should provide low impact intel. Way too often they provide high impact intel that's no longer accurate because we've spooked them. Really think about how you're using your cams and you can get the max out of them.